All right, welcome online, everybody. This is a recording that we've done live on Facebook at the launch of the PRP Professional Reseller Program. My name's Michael Firth, one of the founding Field Advisory Board members with Numi, and it is my pleasure today to share this with you. So let's get some slides moving. So we're here to talk about the PRP Professional Reseller Program. Now, if you're brand new, you're probably looking at that going, what is it? In fact, you're going, hang on a sec, what's this? What are these brand names? Am I seeing a mirage? What is the red bottle? What's the black bottle? What's Prima Skin? What's Switch 30? So that's what we're here to talk about today. What exactly is the Numi PRP Professional Reseller Program? Why even have two brands? What's it all about? Well, firstly, these brands were launched way before Numi was. Let me give an example of what I mean. So back about 4 years ago, a bit of history on the company, Steve Scott, serial entrepreneur, had the biggest breakthrough of his life. You could picture a big black bottle was launched, and it was the first hydrostat breakthrough. They kept working on the formula. Eventually, it got 27 times stronger, and this was launched. And Steve, as you know, is massive in the Christian author side of things, and he was invited on a Christian TV program and sold over $1 million in one show. We said, that's awesome, but we can't ship this to Australia. It's too bulky. So they kept working on it, and eventually they got the product about 6 times stronger again. And that's when this brand was launched in this tiny little bottle, which is the same as 2 of these massive ones. And all of a sudden the testimonials went through the roof. At that point, Steve had a non-compete clause to go into network marketing, and he'd gone way beyond that. And he said, I'm not going into network marketing. I'm not going to network marketing. And just like the kids in the back seat going, are we there yet, Dad? 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 Alex, myself, Phoebe, a number of us kept saying, are you sure you can't go back into it? Steve eventually agreed to, even though that wasn't his original intention, and we're all blessed because of it. And that's where this product was launched. So this one was out first, okay, just so we're clear. Similarly, we got contacted by because we knew about glutathione and what it would do. Some of us had it on our skin, seeing what happened. And we got contacted by Dr. Marina Perito, who's a world-renowned dermatologist. And she said, if you could put other ingredients in, you'd have the world's greatest skincare. Hyaluronic acid, collagen, etc. That's where this was born. And this also was launched before Numi was. So that's where the other brands come from, and that's the history of the company. Now let's talk about what it means to you now. So these brands were launched first. Now let's be clear, MLM products, multi-level marketing products, do not have enough retail margin for most retailers. What do I mean? Well, there's a 25% retail margin on NutraSwish. Most people are used to having up to 100% markup, right? On a product when they put it on the shelf, you know, buy it for X and sell it for Y and earn it some out. So this generally doesn't work. Now, look, you'll meet some leaders in network marketing who say, I've been able to get it into a gym before. And look, that's great, but it is the minority. It's a small amount. And for the vast majority, most times it's never worked. So retailers love having a unique brand on the shelf. I can tell you here, we've had Prima Skin through beauticians in Australia for 18 months and they love it. But I can tell you, some of them don't understand network marketing. So there's an enormous potential for the retail product, and otherwise we're leaving that on the shelf and not making any money out of it. So some people love MLM. You do, I do, we all do, because it's such a great industry, but we understand it. We all know there are some people out there who've listened to their broke brother-in-law who said, oh, it's one of those things where the guy at the top earns all the money. And we know that's totally false, but they've never looked into it. So they heard a third-hand expression on that, and that's what their opinion is. So until they get educated properly, that's their opinion. So some of those beauticians, I'm telling you right now, would prefer to have a brand, it's a different brand name on the shelf than the Numi Skin brand, and that's great. So we're actually working with what people want, and that's how it came about. So some professions, believe it or not, even though you might find the odd lady who said, you know, I've got a doctor that's got it on his shelf, in some countries it's illegal, just so we're clear. You know, as a doctor here in Australia, if my great friend, Dr. Dean Stubbs, had his premises open and just sold a network marketing product off the shelf, he might get disbarred, right? Some naturopaths, I've got a great naturopath here about 2 streets from me, who's a good friend. She said, I can't wait for the red bottle to come out because legally I can't promote the blue one. That's great. She's building a network marketing business separate to her client base, but it's a bit difficult to connect the two. So guess what? We've worked out a way where you can connect them. So you're not going to leave any money on the table anymore, right? So separating these brands keeps it really clear for all of us with different colors that red is meant with the swish for the public brands on a retail shelf, and blue is Numi. Black is meant for the beauticians and so forth, and blue and white is Numi, right? So remember this, as we go into this today, This bonus is business you would normally have missed out on, and now you're getting a cherry on the top, all right? So who are the ideal targets? Gym owners, absolutely. Spas, doctors, naturopaths, pharmacies, beauty industry. Now in Australia, we call them beauty therapists, dermatologists. In other countries, they call them estheticians. So whatever it is, the whole industry would love it. Health food shops. Just note this though. If you have a friend who goes, oh, wow, I'd love to get the red bottle and just set up an online website and start flogging it. No, that's not the target market. In fact, all applicants must have an employee identification number, a professional website presence, and a physical proof of presence, because we're not turning this into an online sales machine. This is designed for professional retail resellers, just so we're clear. And also, in case the question comes up, the recommended retail price parity is controlled. What do I mean by that? Well, here's the other good news. So we all know you pay $50 US wholesale for this. This one, you pay retail. That's $65 US. Now this is 65 too, but we all know everyone joins as a preferred customer. So which one's cheaper? You already have it slanted in your favor. This one will be dearer on the shelves because that's the recommended retail price. So let's jump back into it. Really cool program. So what's in it for members? I'm sure you've been wondering, what's in it for me? Well, here's the Numi comp plan, right? I'm not going to go into that now. It's all in the back office. And we know how Alex just said, it's probably the most lucrative compensation plan on the planet. And people are running to us, even massive leaders, because of that. So this is a cherry on the top, okay? It's an extra part of the program that you can choose to participate in. And if you don't want to, you don't have to, okay? So here's how it works. You get 25% of the purchase price. So if a gym or a doctor buys a case of products, then you'll get paid 25%. But guess what? The person who introduced you gets 3%, and their upline and their upline and their upline. All these people are getting remunerated. Now you might be sitting here going, I don't care what they get. I want to get it for myself. Well, if you don't understand network marketing properly, let me explain. Fast forward, you're going to build a Numi business with the blue compensation plan, and you're going to just light it up, and you're going to have people who introduce people who introduce people, and all of a sudden, 5 or 6, 7 levels deep, somebody in your team is the best mate of a gym chain, and they go and show this program to them. How would you like to get 3% on that? And they're more than 6 steps of generations removed from you, and you're going to get paid for that as well. So the bigger picture, don't be thinking just like a salesperson, think of the bigger picture. You're profit sharing on all the expansion through your team, which is huge. Let me put it in context. Down here at the bottom, by the way, I just remembered that Alex is translating, or actually, did I put him in the translation room? Uh-oh, let me just check. Did I? Uh-oh, Alex, I think I forgot. Uh-oh, sorry, we're halfway through. Let me just do that right now, just in case it's a little late. I apologize, Alex. Let me do that right now. See, I talk a lot. I talk very fast. Here's translation. Alex, for some reason, translation is not showing at the moment, so I don't know how I can do that. There it is, interpretation. Alex Monterosa, Spanish from here on in. Tell me if you're in, Alex, and I'm just about to make Aaron a co-host as well. Great, looks like you are. You can unmute yourself, buddy. All right, so let me continue from here. What's in it for members? So if anybody is Spanish and they want to hear in Spanish, make sure you hop into the Spanish room. My bad, you don't have to be smart to build this business. Now, so down the bottom here, this is taken off of one of the documents we have in the back office when you join or want to participate in the PRP program, and you'll notice that it talks about all the different options of purchases. Let's just pick on one of them. Let's say a gym buys a case of product, 42 bottles, that's 1,680 purchase price, which is about $40 a bottle, which is less than the wholesale price of Numi. They can't sell it for that price, just so we're clear, but that's their purchase price. And that'll give you a 25% bonus, which is $422. Now, this part is cool. Let me show you what the potential is. And I did this sums in Australia. I was talking to someone this morning within Larry's team, somebody who has 250,000 people on their Instagram who is a fitness model. Do you reckon she's got potential? Boom. So in Australia, I can't vouch for the US and other countries, but in Australia, the average gym membership numbers for a small gym is 3,000 to 5,000 memberships per club. Let's assume that the statistics shown in Australia are correct in the US as well. In Australia, 15% attendance rate is what they have. So I always said to someone, if you go to the gym and you're not attending, you might as well put money into charity because it's tax deductible, because I've done this myself many times. You join, you don't go. That's 450 to 900 people attending. Let's say that just 10% of them end up buying Swish through your mate who's the gym owner. That's 45 to 90 bottles a month if they just buy one. Some of the sports people buy 2 or more. So that's 1 to 2 cases very, very conservatively, which would be between $422 and $844 commission for you, which is actually between $5,000 and $10,000 a year from one gym you stumbled your toe on. Huge. So here's you. That's what you get. But remember, your upline gets 3%. So $600 to $1,200 each goes to the other individuals. This is huge, huge. Remember, this is the cherry on the top. This is an addition to what you're building, right? So is the PAP program for everyone? I would say no. Look at that nervous look on that lady's face. Firstly, remember, this is an extra cherry on the top. We don't want to distract you from you're already doing very well. The 1, 2, 3 Numi system, that is your core. That's going to be 99% of your business. This is the cherry on the top. Remember that you're representing a professional brand. And I want to talk about this with passion because, I am the person over here in Australia who will be the one fulfilling these for you once that's approved. So a professional brand means this. We're in Numi. I can sit here with a Numi t-shirt on. That's all good. I could sit here in a pair of thongs. I could go to a coffee shop in a pair of thongs and a messy t-shirt if I want to, because it's my business. I hope you're not, but you could, right? When you're representing a brand which is not yours, such as Swish 30 or Premiskin, I would hope that when you go in, you remember that you never get a second chance at a first impression. So if your downline is bringing you in to meet somebody you've never known and you're coming in to help on the conversation because they're not confident, dress to impress. Now here in Sunshine Coast, if you put on a red tie, power tie, and a white shirt and a jacket, you'll get run out of town. We know that was a big thing with Amway about 10 years or 20 years ago. Right now, some parts of the world still do that. So pitch it according to where you are. Dress to impress. If that means wearing an open neck shirt and a nice pair of pants and you're not in a t-shirt and thongs because you're representing a professional brand, perfect. Cold calling is way less effective than referrals. Are we stopping you from doing it? No. If you're a professional and you want to do that, you could, but I would discourage most people from doing it if you really aren't confident and you don't know what you're doing. We're going to give you some skills in a minute. If you're not confident, take an upline. There are 7 generations of people who've got an invested interest in all of you bringing that on board. Someone up there has got to be confident and professional. So ask for assistance. Someone typed in the Facebook page today, their upline didn't know what they're doing. So then go upline. Remember, the word sponsor stands for responsible for. Your job is to support your people, not just sign them up, dump and pump. You go in there, you look after them and support them. And if you can't, you get an upline help. That's why it's a team business. So take a confident upline with you. Work your warm referrals. Now, someone asked me the other day, how would I approach this? This is how I'd approach it. All of a sudden, anyone ever remember the Matrix? Would you like the red pill or the blue pill, right? I'd make sure I got an empty bottle of this from a friend in the US or someone who can get a copy of this to you. And I would say, you know what? We've got a professional program we're launching. This is what I'd say to all my Numi customers. I'd say, when are you free for a coffee? I'd go have a coffee and I'd say, hey, guess what, Mabel? You know how you love our NutraSwish, and I know you're not joining the business, and that's okay. You said it's not for you. Let me ask you a question. Who do you know who's a doctor? Who do you know who's a gym owner? Who do you know who's a spa owner? Who do you know who's a naturopath? Because guess what? We just launched a professional brand that they can sell on their shelves, which has just never been done this way before. And if that person loves the products and they trust you and like you, no doubt they'll say, ring my friend Bob, he's a gym owner. Because a cold call, you're going to get through a receptionist. You're just selling something. A warm, trusted referral, which is why network marketing works so well, is the way to get into a door. So then I'm ringing up and say, hey, Bob, your best friend Mabel, we have a new product launching that's specific for gyms. I'm one of the representatives here. I'd love to come and have a coffee when you're free, right? So let's talk about professionalism now when we come back to this brand, okay? So first impressions. I'm going to give you 3 steps I learned, and I would love to tell you this. I've not invented any of this stuff. Years ago, when I was a sales coach in the mortgage industry, teaching mortgage brokers how to grow a business, the funny thing was I was teaching them something I learned from a network marketing expert, and that was 3 steps: greeting, qualify, invitation. And I've lived with this tool ever since. And so greeting means building first impressions. Qualify means asking quality questions, and invitation is to take the next steps. I've adapted this for you in Numi for this approach. So first impressions, arrive on time, dress to impress, as I said, listen more than you talk. You're not there just to go, hi, Bob, here's all about our product. People don't care how much you know till they how much you care, right? So have all your tools on hand. Please, I implore you, do not take black and white photocopies of our information to one of these meetings because you look like a backyarder. Photocopy them in glossy colors as they're provided in the back office. I said people don't care how much you know till how much you care. I put it this way, people don't care what you've got to say till they like you. So the first step is developing quality people skills called the greeting. What do? I'd rock up, I'd talk about the weather, the location, traffic to get there, the relationship they have with the person who introduced me. How do you know each other? Oh, you went to school together. Wow, that's interesting. COVID, has it been affecting your business? Topical stuff, arm's length, to build relationships, build rapport. That's called a greeting. Professional salespeople know this. The higher level professional network marketers have mastered this. That's why it's not about product in our industry. It's about quality people skills. And that's why Robert Kiyosaki says the network marketing industry is the best business school on the planet. You learn all this sort of stuff. So your aim is to find common ground with the individual you just met and connect. The next step is qualify. Gain an understanding, just to go, oh, it's nice to meet you. I know everything about you now. Let me tell you about this. No, your aim here is to ensure that you're consultative by asking questions. So the qualify could look like these, and there's just a handful. You can screenshot this later. Tell me a little bit about business. What do you do? What's your target market? What products do you sell already that sell the best? They get an understanding on that. They might say that. Big one. What do you already know about glutathione? Now, if you're on a three-way call with your upline, which is part of the Numi 123 system, you're on those up all the time, I know, they're probably asking the same question, because if someone doesn't understand glutathione, then that's the first thing they need to understand. And we all have a bit of a repertoire about that. You've probably heard on all those three-way calls. Is there a specific demographic of your client base? And hey, what information have you already looked at? Maybe Mary or Mabel has already sent you something, so I don't want to double up. So we ask these questions, then we're armed with knowing what's next. We understand them better. They like us, and then we move to the share section, which is promote the benefits. So sharing, know the glutathione story inside out. If you don't, get on three-way calls and listen to your upline, share that. Listen to Steve, share it. I share it on the calls that I do with the team all the time on the group calls. So learn the glutathione story, something you can share in 3 minutes flat. Share about Stephen K. Scott, the total gym, 4 billion in sales, testimonials, have a lot on knowledge of that. The science, it's covered very briefly. Use a tool wherever possible, video, slides, etc. Now we are producing a video with the red bottle like we have in the blue bottle right now. Introduce and edify your business partner if they're there, and then refrain from interrupting and let them run the show if you've asked them to help. Nothing beats a personal experience, just like we have in the Numi 123 system. Connect to tools, connect to leaders, then connect to product, and you've got product on hand to give them, as that's why you bought a big pack. Same again, have some product on hand, right? So that you can give them a bottle of product if they want to try it, right? So that's critical, because maybe they need to do that and then come back to you a little bit later. Invitation/introduction. What is invitation? Well, invitation to make a purchase. Are you ready to get started? Great, simple question, right? Or maybe it's booking a meeting from a meeting. They're going to try the product, you're going to come back, and then you're going to say, hey, let's book a time. Is a week enough? And then we'll come and have another coffee. Come back, book a meeting from a meeting, and regroup. Then your job is to introduce them to the expert at Numi. There's a form to fill out in the back office, fill that out, and then introduce them on a phone call to that person in the back office. Now, one of the people who's listening to this right now, who I have a lot of respect for, has 45 years experience. I ran this program past him. He loved it, but he did say this, and I said, thank you for sharing. He said, make sure you share this. Don't let the pendulum swing too far, right? This isn't your core business, just to be real clear. Your core business is a Numi 123 system, the power of three, everything you've seen. Everyone's running at us like what do they call it? A bull run. Everyone's running at Numi, but don't let this pendulum swing too far that you're running out there thinking, oh, the shiny object, I've got to go chase gyms and doctors and naturopaths. No, you don't. You're going to find them through relationships, warm relationships in your downline with people who know people. And sure, you might meet a doctor tomorrow at a party. Fantastic, right? Get to know them. The opportunity is literally a cherry on the top. We've already got stacks of orders come through. Maybe Aaron will share some about that in a minute. So stick to the Numi 123 system first and foremost, and use this program to add big volumes on top. I'll give a quick example where where this could work. Okay, so just an hour ago, I was on a call with Larry's daughter-in-law, who has 250,000 Instagram followers. So his daughter-in-law has tried the Numi product, and she's got some to share with her people. She's going to put a link to her Numi online, right? And that'll be directly from the app. And then people will be able to click the 2-minute video and sign themselves up. We are then going to go back to all of those individuals, and we're going to send a message through to them all saying, hey, guess what? We've got another event happening, which is going to shed more light on the opportunity behind the breakthrough. If you'd like to hop onto that, this will be at this time in this place. And of course, with 250,000 followers, you're going to get quite some traction in customers, but that's not network marketing, is it? Network marketing is helping build leadership and transferring leadership and building, say, 6 legs all the way to crown. So we're going to do that with the second meeting, sort out who's really keen, and then mentor those people. But when we do that, we're going to bring up the PRP program. How many of you right now on this call, on her call, are people who own a gym, or you're a doctor or a naturopath? How would you like to find out about another chair on the top we have where you could stock this product on your shelf as well? That is going to open up doors everywhere. Now, I believe personally, and I'd love to know if you do, type in yes in the chat if you do, I think this adds a professional edge to Numi that no one else has got. We've just separated ourselves from the pack, and we're out the front a million miles ahead of everybody else. I'd go as far as saying, I believe it adds professionalism to the network marketing industry. Because I've said since we started, when we first started, I told the story, or everyone I recruited, I said, hey, do you want the red pill or the blue pill? I don't care. Because I don't care. If they're not a network marketer, they're going to go in this route. If they're a network marketer, they're going that route. We now have a solution for 100% of the people, not just one part of the market. So now we're going to, I hope he's online, transition to a Q&A from Aaron Rennett. Let me have a look. Here he is. So Aaron, if you want to unmute, and I'll bring your camera on. Where are you, Aaron? Here he is. Add the spotlight. Aaron, welcome. Now, firstly, I want to apologize for those people speaking Spanish that I got so excited running into this that the first 30% did not get translated. So hopefully Alex is translating now, we'll see. But we might do another version of this in Spanish. We can get Ryan to come on. So we've got some questions, Aaron, that have been submitted by people that we're going to ask and answer. But do you have anything that you want to share beforehand, before we do that?
No, okay, yes, I do. I started to say, no, I don't, but yes, I do. What was interesting to me was when I first met Steve, the very first meeting, I was asking him questions about both sides of the product focus, where you've got the direct to consumer, and then you've got obviously the network side, which is, to consumer as well, but by the people business. So I asked Steve, tell me about this other side of the business. And Steve said, Aaron, it is something that's done extremely well. I said, it won't do well outside of the Numi business. It will do well inside the Numi business. And I said, so let's do something. Let's look at it. Let's understand it. Let's break it down and see how we can put it in there. Because I said, one thing that many, many people have always wanted to do, but never figured out how to crack the code on, that is taking product, especially from a network marketing model, into a professional's office. And I said, it just doesn't, they don't understand it. They don't want to deal with it. They don't want to try to explain it. They don't want to have it maybe lessen their value if they think that it's something that people say, well, you're getting paid on it. That's why you're pushing it. So from that standpoint, it gives us a leg up, as Michael said, and I listened to Alex earlier. We have a real opportunity to really change the paradigm of how people look at network marketing as a product set, and really strip away all of the monikers and all of the negativity potentially that somebody may see, and say, it doesn't matter. This is a direct to consumer relationship. You can almost keystone your product. It really does allow you to have the ability to actually mark up your product right back up, as Michael talked about, $65 US. So somebody that buys multiple cases has the ability to actually take it right up to almost 100% markup, which is when companies, or when people look at keystoning a product, it's to give them a margin, whether it be 20%, 50%, 100%. They're looking for something in that neighborhood. Well, we've just given them that. So it's an amazing, amazing program. In my previous life, I hired a doctor. His father was the one that started Toru Universities, which is a huge, huge nursing school, and they've got campuses across the US. And I literally put him on the payroll so that he could help me understand and define a program that would actually work with professionals. We spent a lot of money on it, and it absolutely failed miserably, I admit it. But it was because we didn't have a way to differentiate a product set. And we didn't have a way to actually create a compensation plan that not only made sense for the member, but also made sense for the professional. So in this instance, we can pay you to be able to go out and contact and work with the people that you know that trust you. And we can also pay them through the margin that they can mark up in order to get a keystone on their product. So it is the best of both worlds. I've never seen anything like it. I've seen some of the comments that have been made, and I absolutely love what people are seeing and saying and thinking. And it really will open up a lot of doors. But the one thing I do recommend, and I, again, reading through comments, listening to the conversation, you've got to be really, really, really ready when you walk into a professional's office to be able to have a conversation that actually makes sense, that has the salient points, that you don't just burn through it and end up ruining a relationship, even for anybody else in the future. And I told people this the other day. I said, here's what's going to happen. You're going to have a lot of people running out and trying to get into their doctors, trying to get into their dentist, trying to get into their esthetician, trying to get into their trainers at the gym. But you've got to be knowledgeable. And Michael talked about that a number of times. You've got to train yourself. You've got to educate yourself. You've got to learn. You've got to practice, work with your upline, do role playing, and then get to the point where you feel confident and you're going to have a great amount of success. If you think you're just going to walk in and wing it, I can promise you, you're going to wing yourself right out of an opportunity to have a professional relationship. So with that being said, Michael, any questions that I can answer, I'm happy to.
Yeah, and actually you'd had something popped in my head. I want to share a quick story that'll hit home what you just said. You know, in my previous organization, I was introduced by somebody to a gentleman who was working for the richest man in Australia, right? And he tried the product and got a great result and said, I'd like to introduce you to my friends. So he opted in and he became a member. Didn't need the money. The guy's loaded, right? And he introduced me to all these people. The next minute I was talking to, you know, one of the most well-known people on TV in Australia, whatever. And I went down this route. And what I realized after a little while, well, that was great for my ego. All I'd done is buy myself a job, right? Because I got distracted from the core business. And in hindsight, would I like the richest man in Australia's second in charge joining my Numi business, or a janitor who is very wanting to break free and will be coachable and listen? I'll take the janitor every time. So my point is, stay focused. And this is a cherry on the top. We will talk about the questions now. So question number one, people have submitted. So can I still promote the blue bottle to my doctor or somebody if they're interested in the business of Numi?
Absolutely. So if, and I've had this conversation with a lot of people so far leading up to the release of the PRP. If somebody understands it, then by all means, give them the same opportunity to build a business, to build an infrastructure. And we've had a lot of professionals say, well, here's a question. Can I actually enroll as a member and then set my account up as a customer so that I can actually start working with my own customer base, with my own people, but I want to build the business on this side? Absolutely. It does change, obviously, the dynamic and what people make. But if you've got somebody that wants it, my recommendation is never be greedy. Give them what they need to be able to have an opportunity to have success, just like you would want. And it'll come back tenfold. All of those relationships always do, and the volume will grow. And I saw in somebody had mentioned that the 3% continues to roll up. Obviously, it always will roll up through the organization, and the 25% is a huge commission to the people that are looking for this type of program. But again, don't get lost in the 25%. If you've got a professional that wants to get involved in the network side and also wants to have the PRP, let them do it and enroll them the way that you would anybody else. But that's one recommendation that I have.
Absolutely. Now, can I have a Facebook page in the retail brand names of Swish 30 or Primaskin?
No, you cannot. And I'll tell you why. What we don't want to do is confuse the market. And the last thing that we would like is to have a lot of people out there trying to create domains and URLs that confuse people and make them think that they can get to something that has maybe a lesser cost on their website. Maybe it has a different squeeze page or funnel, or maybe it actually opens it up to other companies. And what we really want to do is really maintain the integrity of this brand so that we don't have people out there just making claims, getting us in trouble, Right now, I saw a question on here right now that somebody had asked. It's only available in the US right now because it really is our test bed where we have total control. We can make some decisions and see how everything's working and tweak if needs be, and then start to introduce it in other markets as we get products approved. Because for a resale program, and Michael, I may be asking or answering a question because I'm reading your mind. And I did notice if I really look at my hair closely today, I kind of have a little Michael going on, but not a lot, but just enough. Michael has a lot more hair, but at some point, I just noticed that it's kind of an exciting thing. Michael and I are really, really bonding. But the fact is that in this program, the way that we've got it structured, we really are looking for the opportunity to see people really blossom in this opportunity. And what we don't want is somebody creating compliance issues or FTC issues. But when we get outside the US, we still have to get a product approved because it is for resale. And for resale or retail, however you want to look at, not for resale, the NFR model is not for retail or not for resell. Traditionally, resell means that you're actually putting it on a shelf and you intend to resell it. And in some countries, we don't have the ability yet because we're shipping in from outside of the countries that we're currently serving in most cases, not all, but in most cases. So hopefully that'll answer another question as well.
It does, and in fact, it just makes me some clarity on this. So if you're brand new and you haven't already looked into the terms and conditions, you can't even have a Facebook page in the name of Numi first. You can have Michael Firth Numi, Global Achievers Numi. You can't go Numi anything, just so we're clear. And the same with the website. So it's the same. We're protecting the brands for everybody's benefit. Someone typed a question in here, I think we'll address before I get to the next ones, and that is, can we have a combined pack? Let's talk about this, Aaron, because Numi is, we're selling a business model with this. When you're talking to a gym, you're selling a specific product. When you're talking to an esthetician, you're selling a specific product. So there's no combined packs because they're two totally different markets. And volume, correct me if I'm wrong, we don't want anyone buying anything less than 40 because it's a reseller. It's not a little business model, is it?
Correct. Yeah, there's no, so we're not doing individual sales on any of the units or the bottles. Here's the funny thing. I have these conversations. I was on the phone the other day with Karen and Jana, and I think Lisa was on the phone with me as well. And we were talking to some people overseas. And during that conversation, it was interesting because they kept asking me all these questions about Europe and opening up other countries and all this good stuff. So I am a sales guy that gets sucked into being sold by people. And now all I have to say is that I really will go back and look at mixing a pack because it's not that difficult for us. The reason that we do pack outs is that the packs already come with 40 or 42 bottles. So it's easier literally to keep the pack out the way it is and then send it off. But it doesn't mean that we can't create a different pack that actually has a mixed bag. So there might be, say, 20 of one and 22 of another. Which wouldn't be too difficult for us to put together. Again, just trying to figure out the best way to combine them into one box, one carton is our only concern. But I get sold on this stuff because I see the value in that as well. So even like Michael, where Michael's kind of doing this, but I recognize if we can do something to make it easier for people to walk in. The problem with this, with the branding, the way that it's structured, is that we have beauty from the inside out and the outside in. Because glutathione works the way that it works with your organs. Well, skin is the biggest organ of the body, obviously, as we all know. So as a result, you're really working from the inside out and the outside in on the skin anyways. So it may be an opportunity to have conversations that actually take them into the ingestible as well as the topical, or into the topical plus the ingestible. So yeah, let me look at that, but not tonight. It's not going to happen by the time I go to bed or you go to bed or even Michael goes to bed in 12 hours from now. But the fact is I'll look at it for sure because I like the idea. I just need to see how I can make it work logistically.
It actually jumped into another question. One of the questions is, do we have videos for Swish and Primaskin? And like, again, we have one Numi video. We don't want a video that's both, because when you're talking to, and I get someone typed in there, a wellness clinic that does both, but a lot do not. And so we could be confusing the issue or watering down things if we combine tools for that market. So correct me if I'm wrong, we're creating a Swish video on its own, creating a Primaskin video on its own to keep the integrity of those two markets, but you could combine them if in that scenario.
Yeah, and I see, so I know Forrest Townsley, who's on the chat right now and on the call.
Mhm.
And Forrest and I had a call not too long ago with Martin, and I think Michael, you may have been on that call as well. And it was a
Correct.
great call. And Forrest has a little bit different clinic in that they really promote and utilize glutathione as a way to help people in a beneficial way. I bring that up because truly in some of these instances, we have people that will need a mixed bag. And so I just need to, again, logistically, I need to figure out how we can put it together where it'll make sense to ship that way. But I really don't see it being a huge problem. I just need to spend some time on it. Within a week or two, we'll probably have something up, but give us a minute to do it.
Great. So if we get two different videos, but one combined pack, will solve the issue for Forrest. So if we're talking about the relationship, so in America, different to the other countries that as we bed this in and perfect it. But right now, if a Numi member goes out and they bring somebody in, do I just bring them in and walk away, or should I keep managing the relationship if I'm a Numi member?
Boy, I'm going to tell you right now, years ago, I changed a customer payout to 25% for a big reason. I made sure that we had 25% payout on customers here at Numi. And primarily because I was always somewhat amazed that people would leave their customers behind when the customers are the lifeblood of their business. And so it's always been a little perplexing to me that people would bring a customer into the business and then kind of forget about them, not keep them up to date on literature and education and information and any new advancements in technology or anything new with the product or the formulation, et cetera. So I've always been a little bit surprised. So let me just say this. My biggest recommendation is to always stay close to every single person you bring into the business. Doesn't matter, member, customer, professional, whoever it may be, because they are the lifeblood. And I used to tell people this, and I still will, obviously, when you have somebody that is buying a product because they love the product, not to qualify for commissions, but because they love the product, you have a home run, because those are the people that are going to use the product every day, every week, every month, and they're never going to get off of it because it doesn't have anything to do with, am I making any money in this business venture? But for the people that really understand that, if you stay close to your people, think about it a little bit more from a direct sales side of the equation. Direct sales is massive customer base, and you have all these customers that you're constantly dripping on. Same thing with our business. You have a lot of customers in our business. We have a massive amount of customers in our company right now. And as a result, if you're constantly staying in contact with them, well, every time, if you personally sponsor them, then you're making 25% on every purchase that they make. I'm highly motivated to be able to help them along that process as well. So again, it's absolutely imperative that you stay close to your people. If it's a professional program, they're going to have an expectation, and that expectation is that you're going to service them. So you want to make sure that you're taking care of them, servicing them, following up with them on when you assume trending will take them to the next order. And then you can help them work on the next order and bring them into that next phase. The next order may be double what they currently had because of the excitement and the buzz that was created. So anyways, there's a lot of things that we could talk about, but yes, absolutely stay close.
I think this is a great example of the fact that we listen. So when we launched or talked about this program in the early stages, so that we were transparent months ago that we had 2 brands with everybody, we said we were going to create a program that you had to be 2-star. And now we've said you don't, correct? So there's no rank requirement to participate in this anymore because we listen. Do you want to talk to that, Aaron?
Yeah, I did see that pop up. Originally, we had talked about trying to create a curriculum that would give people the ability to be somewhat educated and knowledgeable to be able to actually approach it in the first place. We realized that would be a teeny bit difficult, and it would be difficult not only from the standpoint of somebody saying, I've got to go through this curriculum to do it, but the other side of it is us managing that side, seeing who's certified or equipped, if you will, testing in, testing out, whatever it may be. And our feeling was that, look, you're all professionals. You've all made a decision to join a company. You all are interested in trying to build a business. We just need to support you as best we can. My excitement is that I've got these incredible leaders that I've never had before, never in the history of my time, where you've got a Michael Firth, where you've got a Alex Monterosa, where you've got a Rhonda Dasher, a Phoebe Wallace, all these different individuals. I don't want to name names, and I just screwed up by doing so. But when they'll take the helm and literally say, I will do training on this. I didn't have to do anything. Michael called me up last week and said, hey, would you mind if I put together a training module so that I can actually take people through the PRP? Well, do I mind? What can I pay you to do this? So there's no pay. It's free. Michael wants to do it because he wants to educate everybody. So as we go through this process, I know that we're being recorded. Anybody can go back and learn and listen and educate themselves. And we would just recommend that people do that, because this training, I went through the training Monday, and then saw bits and pieces of it last week. I was overjoyed, but I was mesmerized by the information that was put together. So again, I take my hat off to Michael, to Alex, to the other individuals that have put together this information on it, et cetera. It's just been such a great way for people to come together and figure out how to help everybody have success in this business, not just the top, not just the elite, not just their team, anybody and everybody. So thank you.
The final question, I think, is the most exciting one. So we get 25%. That's nice money, 3% up the line. Does this create QV in the line that it's ordered in, qualification volume for rank advancement?
Absolutely. So one of the other things that I love about Numi, and that I love about what we were able to create, is a one-to-one relationship on everything we do. And my goal when I came on board, it's easy sometimes to say, well, if you're going to discount something, then you take it down by a point, you take it down in commissionable volume by 2 points traditionally. So you always go down 1, take it down 2 to make up for the difference in the margin that you're going to impact in a negative way. What I said when I came on board is I would rather keep the pricing at a point where we know we're making our margin and our people are making their commissions. And if we can do that all the time, we have plenty of money built into the structure of our COGS and our SG&A and all the other things that we do. So my relationship with the product is to give you guys at least point for point value. So if it's 1,400 points that somebody's using to purchase a case of product, then it's 1,400 points that rolls up through the upline, and it's commissionable at the same amount. So we've just done the math to figure out exactly how best to bring it down to a price and a number that makes sense and still be able to pay out commissions at a total amount. And it seems to work. I don't want to look at the math later and find out that it didn't, but I'm pretty sure that it worked. We played with it a lot. So anyways, I smile, but there might be a little bit of trepidation behind my smile, but I'm pretty confident that it works. No, it does work, folks. I'm excited to give it to you because I know what it does for people that are out there busting their butts every day to try to help people achieve something better in their life. And I want to be a part of helping with that. So I think it's an easy thing to do.
Absolutely. You know, the melding between the two, like I'm just going to mention this, Larry won't mind me mentioning it. Larry Wilson, beautiful member in the team, who birthed one of the goose that laid the golden eggs, Karen, who's birthed another. So there's 2 triple diamonds in one leg. And so Larry's now, this has lit him up. His eyeballs were popping out when we were talking to his daughter-in-law today. So to know there's QV in another line, rank advancements galore, guys. But there's a question that I thought we'd covered this a lot, but someone typed it in, so I think it's worthwhile answering, and that is, would you like me to be cold calling if I'm not experienced? Your eyeballs.
So here's what I've always said. You have a relationship with the people that you deal with every day, and because of that trust, because of that relationship, people want to work with you. It's no different in a professional program. You know, some of the pharmaceutical reps that have gone into doctors have been going in for years and years and years, and at first didn't ever get a sell, and finally built up a relationship and built up some type of trust that they were able to actually have that conversation at some point to be able to do it. We're no different, folks. Every one of us has an opportunity to build those relationships and to somewhat capitalize on relationships. But just realize it's a choice for somebody, and they have to make that choice. And if you're painful, if you're pushy, if you're aggressive, it's going to slow down or impede your progress or the progress of others behind you. So just realize, again, I always talk about greed. I'll leave you with this. I had a really interesting meeting when I was really, really young in business. And it was the owner of a company here in Utah called Novell. They were a big software and services company. The guy was one of the first billionaires in Utah. I mean, he was this big guy, kind of Michael's story about this other guy. What was interesting is that we sat down and I had two vice presidents from my marketing team out of Virginia and Atlanta in a previous company from years and years and years ago. I mean, I was literally in my early 20s. And so I was just happy to bring some smart people in that I could, listen to and learn from. And the thing I remember the most about that conversation was that one of my marketing guys that worked for the company said, there are two big drivers in marketing and in people. The two biggest drivers, and this is not necessarily one that will make sense because there's a bigger driver, and it's love and passion. But the two main drivers that happen in marketing are greed and fear. And so you have to be cautious that you're not being greedy and you're not creating fear. You have to be really cautious, because when you think about the relationship that you're creating, if they think you're greedy, they don't want to do business with you. If they think you're fearful or you're creating fear or fear of loss or the takeaway or some other thing, they're not going to do business with you either. So you really have to think about the way that you approach people. And again, I think what would be great is if we could continue to have this type of dialogue where we can teach and educate and give you more knowledge and ways to approach and do some role playing and just some conversations, create some scripts. And I would love it, because truly it is an opportunity for all of us to get better at our craft and to be better people and stewards as it relates to the product, to the branding, to the company, and to what we represent, because every one of us represent each other in this business. It's every one of us out to help each other win in life. And so we have an opportunity. So don't be greedy, don't create fear, stay classy. I mean, that's the bottom line. Just be above it all. So anyways.
I think that's a new Numi, stay classy. That's a good tagline. So thank you.
We've got the other one.
Thank you, Aaron, for sharing with us today. I think that was fantastic. Everyone would agree. This is a permanent recording that'll be in the back office under the PRP program. Someone asked some questions about how much, how many in a pack, whatever. All this information in the back office on the left banner, ribbon, will say PRP, and all this will be in that spot for you to look at in the future. So thank you for your attendance today, and we look forward to seeing everyone on the next live event. Go get them. All the best.